Morning.
Are we? Oh, we're early, so we're the only ones on. I was afraid to start talking. I'm never early for anything. Let me get Wendy in here too.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Are you still up in Phoenix, or are you? Well, obviously you're with your mom.
Yeah. I'm just back up for like a week and a half, and then I'm back to Tucson.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
How's business in Tucson?
I just passed my class finally, so now I'm waiting for my approval to go get the license, or the test for the license.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Took forever.
Well, you're not in here. You should come sit here.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Oh, I'm always eating.
I like that background.
Yeah, I like your happy face background. Which testing?
The real estate test, right? Did you went to Hogan, yeah?
Oh, I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Originally, I did the CE shop, which was all online. Horrible. And then.
What is that? CE shop. What is that?
Originally, it was for the once you're a license to get the hours that you need. Education is what it stands for, but then they were able to make it as an online thing. I want to get my headphones. Make it online, and I took the course online, and it was just horrible. It's 100% text, so I had to read everything.
Oh
That's
my
not
God.
what
That's terrible.
Yeah, so no instructors, nothing like that. And then, so I failed that test 3 times, and then I decided to go with Tucson School of Real Estate because it was an in-person teacher or instructor or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got a 94 on the national, and then 78 on the state.
Woohoo!
Good job.
Thank you.
Got to find out what percentage I got on the state test. They just said you passed.
Oh, that was just for the classroom.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so now, because I have a learning disability, we finally figured out why it was taking me so long to pass the text, because I don't learn by reading it. I'm more of an audio person.
I'm
Yeah,
not too.
yeah.
I
So
don't learn by reading at all.
yeah, it was horrible.
They just read it. I'm like, no. You have to explain it.
Yeah, unless it's got pictures, I'm not really into reading what it said. Can't figure out what it says. I know the words. I know what they're saying, or what the meaning of the words are. But like, I'll read. By the time I get down to my 3rd or 4th paragraph, I have no clue what the first paragraph was.
Yep.
So I was laughing, or the wifey and I were laughing, that I went to get diagnosed so that I would have be able to have some sort of accommodations. And the lady said that you only need 6 to qualify, and I'm 19 of 19. I told her I'm an overachiever.
Nice job. But guess what? The learning disabilities help accomplish so much more because you have to work harder. So it puts a whole work ethic into
Right. Yeah.
life, which is a good thing.
So when they talk about the squirrel effect, I definitely like, oh, wow, look, something else.
Nice.
Oh, hey guys, the rest of the crew: Larry, Teresa, Big Dan. Hey, I like your shirt. That's color.
So, congratulations, Jason, on passing your test. That's awesome.
Thank you.
When are you taking your state?
I submitted my ADA accommodations request yesterday, so they said it could take up to 10 days for them to get back to me, which sucks. But I keep checking my emails. I don't know is the answer.
Jason, I found that the state was a lot easier than the others. So,
The state?
mm-hmm.
I had struggled. You're talking about the main test? For the classroom, I did worse on the state than I did national.
Okay, yeah, the national. Okay, the national. To me, that was easier.
That's because he didn't spend any time. He was just like, oh, go look up these Arizona legislation, ARS 33-1201. And what? How about let's discuss it? So, but I passed. That's all that matters. I don't care what the score was on that one.
That's right.
Mhm.
So, you're going to learn a lot more. Yeah, you're going to learn a lot more now, like, just like you have been.
Thanks.
There's some people in this business. I said that I'm surprised there's some people in this business that even pass the test and they're still successful. I'm one of them.
I'm surprised I passed.
Ah!
What just happened?
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Morning.
We've got the McBrooms. We got the Big Jason, Larry the House Guy, Teresa Z, and Miss Mara. How is everyone?
Good.
Doing good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, let's start our day off. We're going over seller objections. Do you guys have any you want to throw out there right now, or we want to go off the list?
List.
Perfect.
Well, one of them is, well, I'm going to wait to see what the market's going to do. I'm like, well, the market is awesome right now, but okay.
Okay. We're gonna see what the market's gonna do. That's a big one right now. There's a lot of people that don't know where the market's at. Let's start with that one. We'll put it on the list. Because she sent me an older list, which you'll see why. But how would you handle that one?
This is where
do.
stats class comes in. Know your market, know your stats. It's an immediate stats story. The market's on fire. It's been running for price points around 200 are selling in hours, not days. A little above that in just a few days. Everything in the market on both sides because of lack of inventory. It's pushing people to see the houses that are open and are available. Secondly, their lending is at a point where they can buy more house. I mean, all that stuff, all the stats stuff just goes right into play right there.
One of the things happening right now, when you're watching the stats is the pricing adjustment is happening because the prices are falling a little bit, which, I need to watch. But they needed to go somewhere. They were just going sky high through the roof. They needed to low out. So
Are your prices falling?
I saw.
Okay, so we lost your volume.
Coming out, but not falling yet.
All right. Next. Cindy's coming on. Now we have a party.
Start falling.
I need you guys all to do me a favor and stop what you're doing and just smile. Remind yourselves to smile. Fake it till you make it. The biological aspect will change the psychological aspect. If you're in a funk, smile it out. All right, first one. I have to keep my promise to a friend or a previous agent, or I already have an agent, or I'm going to use the agent I bought the house from. Anyone heard any of those things? Well, we're just going to use the agent we bought it from. Or my friend's a realtor. Or I have an agent that my parents always used. Little nepotism in that one.
My first question would be, well, have you had a conversation with that agent? Is that agent in touch with you?
Right.
I'm here now, and I can, let's talk about the market. Let's talk about what's happening. You can certainly get a second opinion, but we're here. Let's have this conversation. What does it look like for you right now? What's your situation, and are you ready to sell?
Right. Didn't you have a situation like that, Larry, where somebody was using their old realtor and they fell through, and then you were the one that gave him the information he was looking for? Wasn't that?
No, that was, well, it was a guy. Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, he was, my client had been asking the agent that he bought the house with for some information on, he was from Singapore. He was assigned here on an A2, I think it is, or whatever the documentation is. He was a trainer up at the National Guard helicopter on the Apaches. He was here on a 2-year assignment. They extended him to 3. So he was, his country, Singapore, actually pays them the value of whatever their house payment or rent is while they're here in a one lump sum when they're returning to the country. Very weird situation, but they have to get a letter stating what the values are. What's the per square foot value of the house, either rented or for, if it's being sold at this time. And then they cut him a check for 3 years worth of house payments. Imagine. So, but he has to get a letter from somebody that's in the real estate market. So he asked his real estate agent that he bought the house with twice to put together some very simple information and get it to him in letter form so he could submit. And he never heard from the guy. And then when he called him finally, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I've been busy, I'll get it for you in the next day." Next day, nothing. Calls him up. "Oh yeah, I'm sorry." He goes, and after the second time, he said, "I was done and I was ready to go with you."
So always come from giving the follow through. I've been hearing this a lot lately. Is the fortune was made in the follow up. So it's not just the first conversation, it's many after that. So here's another one. I want to find a house before I put mine on the market. Who's heard that? Yeah. I'm not going to sell until I have somewhere else to move. I don't want to be homeless. I've heard that one. How do you handle it? Any takers? How about our Phoenix Heights?
We could try to we could try to get somebody to do a lease back. So this is the best time to sell right now. Why don't we put it on the market and we can negotiate, because the market is still very hot. We can negotiate a possibility of renting your house back out, and then you can move into the next place. And it only takes about 30 days. We can to find something else and close. So we could do like a 30-day lease back, and the lenders allow us to do it for 59 days.
There you go. So present options. Someone else. You know what? I want to find a place before I sell mine. How about this? Can you qualify for the other house without selling the other one first? Go the easy route, right? What did they tell you? Lender tells me that I have to sell my house before I buy another one. Well, fantastic. Why do we do them at the same time? What do you mean? A lot of people don't realize that you can stack the transactions. Money just moves from one account to another account. It goes from proceeds to down payment. So how do we handle that, right? It's the confidence of knowing the different options. I want you guys to have like 3 options for just about any scenario out there. So this is one you're going to see a lot now. Is I don't want to sell my house until I have somewhere else to move. Option 1. What is it? We just talked about 2 of them. So
You need to sell your house to buy the next one. What's your financial position?
right.
What's your lender saying? I'm
They
sorry,
might
say,
be able to qualify.
Yeah.
So there's option. That's probably the easiest and first most. Can you qualify for the second house without selling the first one? Some people can. All right.
And if-
Option 2, a lease back, right?
Right. And if they can't, the third option would be, well, let me find you a temporary rental that you can move in for a few months while you find your next home. But at least you're going to get your home sold while the market is nice for sellers. I don't know what the market's going to be in 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Teresa, I don't want to rent a house. I don't want to move all my stuff twice. And
Well, then we can try to make the transaction simultaneously.
what do you mean by that?
Well, we control the closing date. So we will say it needs to close as your home as you're finding your new home, and try to get them to both close pretty much one right after the other.
Oh,
Close
okay.
yours. You have a few, maybe, stay in your home 30 days while you're, have that option with the new buyers. Give you time to get moved in to
Cool.
your next place.
Sounds like you got a good eye set for that. All I say is break script. Now, kind of like just focus it, fine tune it. Teresa, I completely understand. Always align. I agree with you. Right now is a very hot market. It's going to be very difficult for us to find a house. It's going to be perfect for you. Have no fear. I've challenged this bull a couple of times and I always come out victorious. Now we get your house on the market. We get it under contract. We control the closing date. So while we're going through that process, we go out there and find you another home, get it under contract, and then get you on the way to closing on that deal so we can close them both at the same time. You'll just sign 2 sets of paperwork on the same day.
Mhm.
What are you saying, Sherry?
You're so eloquent.
I can't think on the spot when you ask, but that's it.
If I ask and you can't think on the spot, what's going to happen when you're in a stressful situation with a client?
I know, but
Why am I scarier than $1 million listing?
Well, if it was $1 million listing, I might choke too.
That's the thing is you're actually going to be a higher level of stress in this call with these people than you will be in the real world. So if you can nail it and have the eloquence, the suave, the smoothness, the thought process calculations here in this environment, you're going to be so much more dynamic in the field because you know that I know what you're supposed to say. And if you screw up with the client, they don't know. You're like, I botched it, but I got the right words out. It's different order. Here, you don't take so much stress in it, but I want you to participate because how we play here is how we play in the real world. If you're going to hide here, you're going to hide in real estate.
I don't want to hide.
by the way, the conversation is the same, whether it's a $1 million listing or a $100,000 listing. The conversation is exactly the same. There's no difference. So there should be no change in attitude in front of who you're talking to. That story should always be the same.
So I just lost a listing to these people that it's kind of the same scenario. So they want to buy in Sun City, whatever, and it's less expensive. I showed them the pricing and they're like, oh, everything's too expensive. So we're just putting everything on hold. And then they listed a week later. And I'm like, I didn't even have an opportunity I don't know what happened. How do you beat that? I guess I just should have.
So that right there comes from a hidden objection we didn't uncover.
Okay. It was a hidden objection and I needed to ask more questions.
You showed them something they didn't like and they shut down.
Yeah.
So you ask those questions. Well, everything's more expensive. We're going to put it on hold. Well, what makes you say that?
Okay.
Follow up to that right there. I'm going to put everything on hold. Okay. What makes you say that? Out of curiosity, Sherry, what do you hoping changes? And that uncovers some real objections right there. Raise of hands, thumbs up or whatnot. If you have went to go buy a large ticket item that you knew you needed, you saw the price tag, freaked out and said, you know what, maybe I don't need it that bad, wound up buying it a couple days later. We all have.
Set them up on a search and say, I know these are all too expensive now, but what if something comes up that's cheaper or below the market value?
And but there was another something.
Yeah, it's, well, you know, part of another my thought is, you know, you showed them some properties and initially that they were kind of like, these are interesting. And then later they said, oh, these are all too expensive.
No, I had heard from, so I farm, and I had heard from some neighbors that they were interested in selling and that they were going to be putting their house on the market. So they invited me over, blah, blah, blah. And then I had asked them where they wanted to go. So then I set some things up and sent them over to them. And then they you know, I kept following up with them and they were like, yeah, everything's too expensive, so we're going to stay here. And then they ended up listing.
Have you talked to him since?
I didn't, because I feel like because it's listed, I would be in violation. No?
When you make contact and you follow up with a friend, it is not an ethics violation.
Okay.
If you call up with the intent to get them to fire the realtor and hire you,
Right. No.
but the phone call say, hey, Mrs. Seller, how you been? It's been a couple days since we talked last. You know, any lingering questions pop up for me?
As if I didn't know that it was on the market?
Because just because they listed their house with somebody else does not mean you can't be the buyer's agent on the house in Sun City.
Oh.
Their
yeah,
agency is for that side of the transaction only. Unless they've signed a buyer broker and all that stuff on the other side. But 99% of yous don't sign both at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm part of yous guys.
And yeah, Sherry, maybe they don't realize that you could have done both, and they're still expecting you to show them houses.
I think it might be I had a bad transaction with a neighbor, and I think somebody spoke about something like, and it wasn't my fault, but the sellers, huh?
It's always your fault.
I know. So the sellers, okay, I'm just going to make this really quick. The sellers they thought that I should be present for the inspection, but I had no idea that that's what they thought. And a neighbor complained to them, and then they got super mad at me. I'm like, but buyer's agents take the buyers to the inspection. The seller's agent doesn't typically go. And they told me, well, we've done business for so many transactions, and they're 80 years old. And they're like, I've been in business for 26 years. So for 26 years, this is how it's been. And they were like, well, we didn't know that. And the last house we bought was 20 years ago. So you should have told us. And I'm like, oh, I can't. Yeah. Anyways.
And in those situations, you have to take onus and say, you know, I completely apologize. You're absolutely right. I should have communicated the way things have changed, especially during this pandemic.
Yeah.
However, I do get all the information. I'm in high contact with the inspectors. I'm in high contact with the other agents, and I get all the reports to share with you. I do apologize that you felt like I needed to be there, and I wasn't. I did not mean to let you down. I fall on the sword. That's, you know, for me, because what that does, it's a psychological thing where you take your punishment harder than they think it is, and they're like, no, it's okay. And it watches it. Now, on the situation with the other neighbor, if you feel like there is an issue or a stigma now because of that neighborhood, there is more of a reason for you to insert yourself in that person's life to stop that train of hate. Because if you think there's a stigma, you are going to approach every single transaction in that neighborhood with the same mindset.
Now I got stopped. I was on fire, and now I just like died.
Hey, Wendy, do you guys have a little mirror somewhere you can go get?
I think so. Let me look. We have a big mirror.
Just a small one. Follow along. There's something here. But that's the thing is if you have if you have that issue, like you got a friend, you guys have like an out, and you're tempted about talking to him. You're like, what do? You kind of just bite the bullet and make the phone call, and then you realize that there really wasn't any grievance there between you. Who's done that?
It's a big mirror.
I found
All right, Sherry, look in that mirror. That's what stopped you.
Myself. Yeah.
Maybe you could even do something, Sherry, just to like,
Well, actually,
hey, all
Sherry,
your house is listed. Now you can really, focus on getting into another one. I've got some really nice ones I think you might be interested in lined up.
I
When
like
would
it.
you like to go?
Sherry, actually, if you look at the mirror real quickly again, you'll see the solution.
Just perfect ding.
Well,
It's a mindset thing. If you feel like Henry Ford says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably correct.
yeah. No. I get it. I feel like, so I reached out to everyone in my database, which was like 450 people.
Yep.
And now I'm like, okay, well, I want to do something different. So now I'm thinking, well, I've been calling people and I'm either sending them, you're not going to like this because they are branded, but they're cards or sanitizer. So I'm calling people and I'm like, hey, I have these little things and I wanted to send something to you. Which do you prefer, this or this? And then I send it to them, and it's just another way to touch people in the database, right?
Right.
And so I can hit the 450 people again, which is great, and that's what I know I'm supposed to be doing. But there's something else that's like nagging at me going, well, do a CRM, do something with a landing page, which sends somebody that they can go and just get, because my farm area, I don't know if I've told you, but my farm area is 4,100 homes. Well, it just went from 26 to 41. I just upped it. But I don't have a landing page where somebody can put their CRM. So now I'm spending all this money on like commercials and a CRM and not a CRM, but a CMA. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's like cloud CMA. I don't know how much it is, but you can do the landing page. It sends it over to them, and then you can follow up with them and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that's an algorithm. If you really want to know more information about what your home is worth, I'd be happy to meet with you.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like command.
Sounds like what?
I was going to ask you, Sherry, have you ever asked Wendy to check out her command? It's pretty cool. That's one of the benefits of coming on with Keller Williams. Hint, hint.
That was so appropriate.
But Jason's absolutely right. It's the technology, and you're right, Sherry. The technology needs to be there in this marketplace. If you're gonna farm out to a community and you want them to find out, hey, what is your home value? What are you guys looking to do? This is just an algorithm, does an average. If you'd like to more specific, let's meet, kind of thing. It's no different than our monthly drips that email the clients automatically about what's going on in their neighborhood, and then they can click to get some more information. It's a lead gen through a website. The nagging thing about it, Sherry, is that you feel like you need to grow, you just don't know where to go. 4,100 homes is a huge investment when you're farming.
Yeah.
One bad transaction will not salt the rest because you are the underlying denominator. Everything you do in these transactions will be at the same character, the same caliber. Now you know that the older people might expect you to be at the home inspections. So have that conversation with them up front. Have that conversation with the expectations of what's going to happen on the buyer side, and you can move into that way. But I would definitely reach out to your Sun Valley buyers and just reconnect with them. Just because it's under contract with someone else, like Robin said, Teresa said, they might be thinking you're looking to still selling the house out in Sun Valley.
Well, here's the other thing. You haven't talked to these people since they went and listed with the other agent?
No.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I've noticed that you've gone ahead and listed with another agent. I pride myself on the work that I do and how I come across to people, how I deal with people, how I service people. And I'm at a little bit of a loss as to what happened here. And I'm only just asking so that I can be better in the future. Can you please tell me what it is that made you decide to do that? Because I'm kind of at a loss. I thought we were okay with what we were talking about. And I know that you had said some of the price points were higher than what you were thinking, but that would have been a switch to, is there another area we want to look at? What have you. I'm just looking to know what I could have done differently in order to better serve you. And just ask. No, there's no harm in asking. I'm not repeatedly, well, not repeatedly because fortunately I haven't had that many problems, but a couple of times I'll make that phone call. I just need to know where I went, where I missed, where the disconnect was here, that you followed through with listening with someone else. And, I respect the fact that you've done that. You moved forward. I could, if you would be willing to talk to me about, where you're going to purchase in Sun City, that'd be another story. But again, where did I miss, or what happened here that change took place? Because that was a bit of surprise to me. But I pride myself on the business that I do, and I can't be a better agent if I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
That's a tough call to make. It's almost like saying, why'd you break up with me?
Yeah. But at the same, again, if you want to get to what happened and why did this happen, because it'll make you better on the next time this comes around.
You should probably make that call like right now, like in 4 minutes.
Yeah. Like, well, listen, put it on speakerphone. Let's go.
What about the idea, guys, that they said this thing was too expensive? If this new person was able to get them to see, this is how much equity you're getting out of your home, and with these super low interest rates, to show them that these homes are much more affordable than they think. Or if that person hasn't said that Sherry could point that out to them. She would be bringing value to say, hey, if you're still, I assume now you're going to buy, and I don't know if you have a buyer's agent, but to bring that value really clearly when she calls them might help.
Yeah, we'll find out. That's going to be a good, I love that point, Larry, is definitely seek information, find out.
Do you know how much they listed the house for?
Yeah, they listed it, I think it was like 460, and they brought it down to 450, and they had it under contract once already.
And how much is the house that you were showing them that they thought was too expensive?
Oh, they're Sun City homes. They're 200.
Gotcha. So on that, Sherry, how similar was it to the numbers you gave them on the valuation of their home?
Maybe 10,000 off.
Okay.
That's not much at that price.
No.
Yeah, so something else is going on there, like you thought, but it would be it would be an interesting attempt to get it from the horse's mouth, just to satisfy your own curiosity. You may not have been off base at all.
Yeah.
Could have been some other factor that you had no control over.
Well, thank you for being raw and real with us and exposing that to us, because that's going to be something that you'll. I can see the timid. You're like, oh, this sucks.
Oh, yeah, my stomach hurts. My whole neck is like, it's like I'm almost shaking.
Don't be. You're in a safe space, even though you carry a balloon around with
Well,
you.
it's not that. It's the call. Like if I actually make that call, it's just
No. Not if. When.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to do it in 3 minutes.
I am.
You are.
It's okay.
You're going to pick up the phone. I see it right there on your day planner. You got text messages up. Just make the call. What's the worst thing that could happen?
You have someone in the room with you to be your eyeball
Yeah. I'll
buffer.
make sure it happens.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Wendy.
It's your job, Wendy.
And Wendy does report to me, so that's what my mom didn't do. And I'm going to call you, Sherry. I'm going to tell you directly.
But there's nothing wrong with me saying, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I know that you listed with somebody else, and I pride myself on being an agent for this neighborhood, and I just want to know what I could have done differently to have earned your business.
Yeah, perfect. You want to say it again?
I thought that was good.
I thought it was great. Let's say it again.
Practice makes perfect. Practice
All
makes
right.
perfect.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I noticed that you listed your house with blah, blah, blah agency. And I pride myself in this neighborhood. And I just wanted to know what I could have done that would have made a difference for you guys.
There you go. Simple, right?
Yeah.
I can hear
You
your
see it?
heart. I can hear your heart. That's
You can
good.
hear it. It's like, can you see it too? Like, it's beating out of my shirt. Stay inside, please.
It's really tough to actually actively seek constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because none of us are really happy or whatever, but really constructive criticism is how we grow. So it should be a welcome thing. I welcome you to tell me exactly what you were thinking and what happened with this so that I can be better in the future.
What if I get a voicemail, which I probably will? What happens?
Call back later.
Just hang up and call back later.
Okay.
Hey guys, sorry I missed you. It's Sherry over at Remax. Just wanted to touch base. I'll try again later today.
Okay.
Hey, it's Sherry. Sorry I missed you. I'll try back later this afternoon.
So leave a message and tell them I'll call them back.
Yeah. I love voicemails that say you're going to call back because when you call again, they probably answer. And they're like, she's not going to go away. If you don't answer the second time, don't leave a voicemail. You'll probably get a call back. But just give a call. Just get out of your own way. Have the breathe, move on. But Larry's absolutely right. It's very difficult to seek out constructive criticism, but it's the only way for you to be better is to recap your opportunities.
And or find out it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And you did nothing wrong. It's something else drove this person to just flip. And that happens. And that way you can get this off your shoulders.
You got this, girl. Proud of you. You got this.
Thank you.
Well, we have a whole lot more time for more of those objections starting tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. It is 8:31. You are a minute into your preparation for lead gen. Get out there, do something great. For
Did you guys know
my
this thing?
starts in 29 minutes.
Real quick,
Yes, Miss Mara.
just that I had a listening live today. I wanted to let people know. It's in the chat.
In the
Is
chat.
that east side one? Is that an east side one?
Yeah.
West,
Manufactured home, Northwest, 1,800 square feet, built in 97. Only
yeah.
150. That's a great price point.
Decent shape except for the dog pee and the carpet. I think all the carpets are gonna be pulled up. It looks great online. You gotta let me know. I think I got it to look pretty good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I appreciate all of you. I will see you later.
All right.